Yeah.
Okay, so projects. New classic project.
I mean, I wish that it was basically those features were.
Yeah, you are great.
You're not sharing them.
Yeah.
So far. I mean, also you can type in this, yeah. Delete it. Yeah, and then you have this. Yeah.
Also with notifications.
No, that's the thing.
It's more like I just need.
Okay.
Yeah.
We are just giving a spin to this Kairos Research Lab, Kairos project, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Where basically we keep track of the project and everything. So where are you now?
I'm in the classic project creating a UI thing just to understand how this new thing works.
I created one.
Yeah, but you created on the organization, not on the report.
He asked me to create it there.
Go to the research lab organization to create a new project.
So you created at that level, and also when I tried, when Kairos was in my account, he asked me to create it in my account. So it's account specific, it's not repository specific.
Oh.
Okay.
So, but it's fine.
But here I see you can add a column like milestone. So that's still a thing, but
And repository you can add.
oh really? Ah, okay.
So project is.
Can be
It's
across
across
repositories.
Type to initialize blah blah to search. Okay. Oh, and then only you can.
Yeah,
What?
I guess on the issue, you can set up a milestone. Because you can have a task, but it's not associated to an issue. I'm just guessing now. And once you create an issue, then you have more fields like milestone. And
Okay, so
Tasks are tasks, not necessarily issues, I guess.
yeah.
New view.
But that clearly you cannot tell an issue what,
And
a task what milestone it has.
And that I could say convert to issue. Like, what? No, I can't.
double click on it. Okay.
Milestone, there you are.
Fast.
Add milestone.
Oh,
This is a convoluted.
that's super convoluted. Anyway, so which project am I in right now? I don't even know.
I think Kairos is a
Kairos.
project. Yeah.
That's the project. Okay.
Yeah.
And here, for instance, I could say UI.
No, I think
Well,
it's
just to
task.
be more granular, I guess we need to I don't know, add some categories now. Is it possible to add press add there? Can we add
A tag or
Tag.
something.
something like
Label.
label?
And there you can
You
say
can say new field also and create your own.
filter. And can I say UI?
UI, for example.
Hey,
What about SNEs? Do we feel okay? We already have them.
that's kind of Notion-ish.
Mhm.
Okay. So let's maybe have a look at the Miro thing again.
We know we can have like.
Maybe we can start from mine.
As you wish.
Just going again to the. So. Did we. Wow. Yeah, we need to check. It makes sense to keep everything in one project because there will be so many tasks.
Yeah, but we have tags. Then you can create view with filters. It's the same.
Yeah.
That's the point.
So team is part of assigning tasks.
Yeah, that's what we're doing.
Um,
I think website is an easy one to try out the platform because we don't have many things to say about it, right? There's a few that's like do the GitHub pages research, create. What was it we were thinking about?
That's for this one, I mean,
Yeah.
GitHub pages.
Feels like an easy part.
Okay, so I would say create a website.
And I think this is directly related to the Kairos repository. When
Yeah.
I just looked at my dashboard, it said that you created an issue on the Kairos.
Okay.
Is it possible, you know, if it's possible to create like subtasks? Like create website and then like design, copy, this is an option, like nested.
No, maybe that's a label at the point, create a website label.
Okay.
Yeah, or
So,
Let's have a look.
enhancements. You cannot create your own labels. Fucking stupid. There's a Skia label. Okay, anyway,
share your screen again.
yeah, but I think the labels, you have to create them from another view and then you can add them from here. I think
That's great.
That's create from where?
I'm almost sure, yeah, something like that. Labels. And there you create a new label like communication. Communication, create label. Everything comes. Create label. And now I can go back.
Yeah, we have one tab with the labels, one tab with this, and we can go back and forth.
You have to refresh, I guess. And now you get communication. It feels so unfinished, this one. Okay, so create a website. Assignee wants to do this. It's me or Lars, I guess. Okay.
I mean, I can take that on, but how complicated a website are we talking? Like what is?
Just GitHub page, where you can create, when you have a repository called blah blah, if you create another repository which is called blah blah.github.io, the repository is the website, and you can deploy HTML whatnot to the repo, and it will be your website.
Okay, but what do we want in this website?
Yeah, what do we
Similar
want?
to the views, similar to the views website.
Well, but we don't have
That's
anything.
fancy, yes.
We don't have anything to advertise for now.
Yeah, that's the thing.
No.
What about the-
advertise the project, no, the intention.
What about the wiki?
That's another thing, wiki for documentation.
Yeah, but where is this? Where would be the wiki?
On the
On the
repo,
repo, I think
Like-
you just have it up there, wiki.
wiki. And then you can create your pages in there, and that's it. But the website for now, I mean, okay, let's put it there, but maybe let's create a milestone, maybe not for version 1. For Christmas, we don't want a website. That wouldn't make sense.
I think part of the idea was for the announcement, not like something that people can go and look
I
at.
think it would be cool to have some minimal one, where at the central part where you point to the repository, you point to Open Collective, you point to,
But-
the central center, it's like a presentation card.
That is already there. I mean, the link to the Open Collective disappeared for whatever reason. Because that was in the .github folder where you create this funding.yaml, blah, blah, blah. But everything you just said is already there. I mean,
Yeah, but normal people don't look at GitHub pages.
normal people don't use Kairos, no?
Normal people. The intention is yes.
Yeah. I mean-
Normal people
Yeah.
use Kairos without even knowing what they're using.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
I mean, I'm happy to create a simple HTML thing, maybe you and I can sit down and draft something.
Yeah, but
What
there,
do you want to do?
now there are
It's
like,
not a priority.
Okay.
yeah, and you would do this with like Hugo, or whatever, those fancy flat website frameworks.
I know, we can choose what.
Yeah, but I mean, you don't have to do it manually, that was my point, like
I
to.
enjoy writing HTML to writing.
Okay.
He's not normal people.
So, and then if I go there, we could say, okay, let's create a milestone.
I think you need another view somewhere.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, man.
I know, add milestone.
Yeah, when you get this. Add milestone means.
That's
how you-
the 61.
Milestones.
There you go.
It's fucking ridiculous. Okay,
I mean, the clear
Project
one is
presentation.
Christmas, no? Well, okay, yeah, presentation.
Due date, Christmas.
so Kairos 1.0.0 is that it will be released
Yeah.
Christmas.
Thanks for not calling it 000.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well, I don't know, I feel like the milestone title should be more like first release, not so much the version number itself. Anyway.
Yeah.
Details.
Kairos 1.0. Okay. No. Yes. .0, not .00. Sorry.
We don't do micromanagement.
Somewhere.
okay, due December 25th.
Oh my
Great.
God.
The clock starts. First release. The presentation, right? What's the other one?
When is the presentation? Tomorrow.
We don't know, let's not think about it. No. I think we need to create a milestone before Christmas. That's
Yeah,
so we need to have steps in between.
exactly.
So
So we could say like,
this is probably the last thing that we do today, I guess.
Milestones, yeah.
Yeah, first we need to
of course.
go through the stuff.
Okay.
People for different tasks.
Like, for example, finish to discuss things like
UI.
time, sync and time codes and sync. Box. This topic here.
Let's just enumerate all the protocols. What's starting point?
Could you show my screen?
Kind of time codes. In the industry.
So, because now in Kairos, for example, there is this Kairos clock. Right, just clock, stopwatch, a bit more advanced because that is, but would be cool to find a standard, no? It's possible.
It's what is it?
Well,
Ableton Live.
Other than these,
And that is already cool.
so how does it work? For example, how
Seven.
do you usually use your own clock?
SMTP?
this program we have in the music duties. This observable thing. Honestly, I don't know how, you don't have a proper clock, you feed the timeliner always with a kind of flow or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, the good thing is that it's really a completely separated topic.
Yeah.
So the timeline itself is like a function that you send.
Yeah.
So this way we can really be like flexible. Anyone can just be able to use his own clock in a way. like for example, you could implement a clock with observable that just trigger once a second, and then you react on that and say, okay, every second I have a new timestamp, and then I sample the timeline, no?
Yeah, non-real time clock,
Huh?
NRT clock. That's a non-real time clock.
Anyway, just to say that you can sample the timeline whatever you want. You can have just the sample T in the patch, so it's the main loop that counts every frame you sample, or you do it reactive, in a reactive fashion. It's really up to us, I would say. But maybe it would be ideal. No, maybe observable is the standard. In the sense that we can have a utility node, which is like sample timeline, or like let's say this binder thing that sample the timeline and send data to the connected parameters, whatever. That thing expect an I clock, which is observable. No?
Yeah.
This is why I was saying
And it's up to you
this,
to implement,
sorry.
and it's up to you to implement your clock, which is just triggering events and sends a time coordinates. Basically. Would that be enough?
For the most of the cases, yes. There are people interested to just after that every day it comes up one step. I don't know. It depends on
You could do that, no?
totally.
And is this also compatible with, let's talk about like, I don't know, you want to connect to Ableton, right? You want to use that clock there. How does it work? What do you get?
You get a float, and you get a kind of time thing, which is an integer. But you need to synchronize your own clock with the float you get from Ableton. The good thing of this clock is this is a kind of server that you can grab or not, and when you press play in your machine, you are in a kind of waiting list until the cycle is done. So, and you get always your play, your start, your sequence, always quantized to the beginning of the cycle. You decide there is a kind of quantum parameter, which means in Ableton link, and you can decide how many cycles, how often you connect to the server in terms of starting and stopping.
This is a feature of Ableton Link itself.
Yeah, in the nugget.
Okay.
So
it's not, I guess, how does it count from Ableton?
I think it creates a kind of server, and all the machines can write and read from the server. So I can set up the BPM, and all the machines are updated at the same time.
Because if it just has a float as an output and an integer, whatever, it means that lives in the main loop of the patch. We don't have any events.
No, you don't have events in the way it's already done. Maybe
the way it's right.
Well,
That's why I say maybe there's a way to get more.
actually it was giving us flow 32, and I write the guys, hey, would it be possible to have at least flow 64, because it's not really
The guy who.
Fabian
Fabian did it.
and Björk. But I don't know how is it wrapped. So maybe there are more features, and
So,
we are missing. It would
right
be
there.
better to have
Ask Fabian about,
events. Yeah, that would be great. And I don't need to synchronize my clock with the Björk.
it's a professional thing, is that, I guess. How do they,
I think Björk is more involved right now in the development.
Okay.
No, that's the guy.
wouldn't it make sense to treat this clock sources as the defining, like this server idea, no? This is a producer of information, and we consume it with these channels and all this, everything we prototype the other day, and this is just a float value or, you know, something.
Thing like a clock provider.
But they,
Yeah.
they work in different fashions, so for each one of them, we have to figure out the best way to.
Yeah, that could be a data.
That's why I was thinking, can we find like a common interface, a common thing that, what do we really need in the end from a clock?
And also-
Always observable thing.
Yeah, an event with a float server 64 inside.
Yeah, also like, we have high clock.
Yeah.
interface in VR, but
What does that do?
it's ridiculous. I mean, it's just essential, like provide, it's a clock, no?
Yeah.
The main loop clock.
But the clock, and then, yeah, either you connect to Ableton, so it's handled there, but we need to have a clock in my mind is also like a machine that creates this clock, so you need to stop, play,
Yeah,
speed.
like what
So
if you want
how
to go
do we
non-real
talk?
time?
can we find a protocol to, that we can build this machinery also, right?
And what I was thinking yesterday is how can we control from the outside the VL's clock? Like if you, for example, you get like a non-real time clock for a lighting desk or whatnot, but you want the LFO to run, if you have an LFO node, you want it to run also at to step when the clock says step forward. Can we do that?
This is what I mean. I mean, if we go for this channel thing, which is like routing, like just resources available, then you could create one of the modules. We have OSC server, and one module could be clock. You can create a clock there, which send a clock, and everybody can connect to it, and itself can also some parameters, control parameters that can be plugged and controlled by other elements. You know, everything is accessible there. You can even say to this clock, your speed, you take it from this OSC channel. So this parameter get assigned, take basically take the value from a channel, goes to the OSC server that bind it to it. No, so it's very flexible. It's
Pretty
like
much what the Ableton Link is doing, I think, under the hood.
so maybe we could think, okay, from now on, let's think that we have this modules that we call servers, but they are so generic at this point that they are not just or maybe a clock server. I don't know. It could be like,
I mean,
Okay.
data
Provider.
that was a nice idea, because this data hub that Sebastian was calling.
Yeah.
Because it's something you can
Data-
read from. No?
I think it's a bit different because data hub is where you connect many kinds of sources and they are pointing to a target. I will keep the idea of server. I mean, the terminology is not bad.
server is just something that
For us, maybe when we have to communicate that to other people, we have to change the name, but I think it's not about the name.
because in Shotgun, for example, there's so many, there are modules.
They call it modules, yeah.
But
Module doesn't mean.
Module is
Sorry.
also a very stupid name. So
nothing.
let's keep it in
Provider.
provider.
Provider. But no, because
But
provider only
an
provides.
OSC
you can push back.
Yeah, so it doesn't only provide, it also listens, so it's
And
a
the
server.
it does.
It gives an user.
Okay, let's call it server.
Yeah,
Server, I think it's
So a clock
Flux
will
server.
implement iServer because we can
Yeah,
connect and read from it. I don't know, did you follow our delirium with channels? Was the day before yesterday?
I was here on the day before yesterday, I was here.
Yeah, so, but till now, you did miss the last part, right?
Yeah, you
Then
got
I
there.
got yeah,
We sketched something, right? We can show you later.
yeah.
It's cool because it's very flexible, and it really could be the protocol that we use to link everything to everything.
Even the clothes.
Yeah,
One thing that was, you were suggesting having like a generic cloak type of some sort, like a data type, which is a nice idea. But, and I'm not an expert on this, but I know at least that, for example, SEMTI, you get the time, but it also divides each I don't know if it's each second or each millisecond or what in frames.
Yeah, frames.
So you have this new concept only there, frames.
And also I think
Frame is a different view, let's go.
No, you have your time and then you're on this time on frame 1 up to 32. And then it moves the smallest number in your time count. So there's an additional concept that is not seconds, milliseconds, or blah, blah, which is frame. So all I'm saying is I imagine different time sync providers might have different definitions of how to express time.
totally.
And if we have a generic clock type, it might be hard to fit everything there.
Yeah, but I think that at this point, we don't need a generic, it's like when you have an OSC server, it's something specific, no? And you know that you want to talk within, you know that you're dealing with the OSC server and you use its functionalities, you call its function because you know that you're dealing with it.
Yeah.
So, but the only thing is that there must be like a unique, from the consumer point of view. I just want to get event with a time, with a coordinate, and that's what I really need in the end, not to sample a timeline. So this could be a very minimal interface that you could have different clocks, implement different conceptual time, but still in the end, I need to consume something there, no? And maybe the constraint is the sampler itself. So layer 1D expect a float 64, right? So if you count integer and we send with this frames concept, still, yeah, you need to provide me a float 64. So maybe we could have, in a way, it makes sense because for layer 1D, we expect float 64, and that's why we are talking about time. But imagine that we have a field 2D, which is something that you need to provide a 2D coordinate, right, to sample this thing. In that case, you might have a server that just is a
block tracking, whatever.
block tracking, and just using another interface, you can. This is a I2D position provider. So from here, from where I need to consume, I need to provide, I can connect to any I2D coordinate provider, right? So I think we should find this micro interface, like, yeah, I1D position provider, no? Which is the only operation is get position, which is an observable or of a float 64 pool. And
So all cloud providers have this, and other sources might also implement this. But the cloud provider can also extend this functionality and tell you.
no, actually, no, wait, where is in channels? So channels are already observable. We don't need this interface somehow. Yeah. We abstract it even more. The clock just lists the aspect of the panel, right? So it's up to the guy there to push over that channel this thing. So yeah, no, the only constraint is that this who is sampling the timeline will be able just to connect the channels that are from 64. That's the only constraint. But that's how we are going to implement this filtering mechanism, not through the UI. You can say, okay, I want to connect to my channels available, and it filters out, okay, these are the float 64 channels available. And I want to pick one, or we can go the other way again. You have this clock available, you pick them. But still, just to say that we don't need any interface constraint the choice. We simply connect to a channel that contains a float 64 there.
We just need to translate, because all the clocks are giving us different kind of information. We just need to convert that into.
And also, it could be that a clock provide send over different channels. it normally says or over float 64, but it could also provide this other frame way of describing time and sending over another channel. So I can consume different versions of the same. I mean, it just offers different products. No?
Actually, it would make sense if we want also to sell clothes outside Gamma.
Yeah.
Because we are thinking now in getting clothes, but it's also interesting to send clothes.
Exactly, because that clock could send a float 64 internally that we use, but also could encode time in any way
Mini clock
and make it available that we can say, okay, send it over OSC with this time, for example, or sending. So at that point, it's really up to this clock object here to prepare the data in whatever way we want. And
I'm missing Terian in this conversation.
I'm wondering if there's, because some of these things are very redundantly time sensitive, no? And the more layers of software you add in between the sort of you're adding delays. Yeah. And you know,
Depends
well,
how
if you work with events,
separate the whole thing and how do you work with the clocks.
if you work with events, you don't introduce any images. It's just you don't work in the main.
If you go to the Gamma main loop and then you convert again to events and these kind of things, it doesn't work.
That's why it would be good to have an observable out of.
Always, and in this field the whole time. And also if you want to work in audio range, for example, was one thing that Sune was talking about. It works in a similar fashion. You are working in this kind of observable. It's not a huge topic.
But I think we found the approach then. We just embrace this
idea.
this architecture of the channels and binding, which is I think it's only more parameter.
You're getting better and better at doing graphs.
Specifications.
So you say it's not parameter X anymore? Then it's not a parameter, it's bindex.
I think it's bindex.
like they sounds like semantics and parameters cement or glue or something. No?
Yeah.
I was more thinking about format.
Yes.
The second one was.
Clearly, I'm more innocent than you guys.
Yes,
You have to spend more time with them.
I will not say. It's just look at point.
No, I
What the fuck?
Yeah, naming is one of the hardest tasks. Huh? So
Yeah.
this is a good idea.
Oh.
Nuisance X.
What the?
Because I got myself in a bind. It's like a problem.
Pickle.
No weak situation.
Yeah, but I think it's
No, but
only
it's
using
something-
bind in that context. Huh?
Medicament. Quandary.
Light spot. That's
Hot water.
And binding, no, not just bind. Binding.
The dictionary is bullshit, no?
Even
weird, huh? It doesn't recognize bind as a noun.
Bind. It's a verb, no?
but binding.
Yeah, yeah.
Another
Anyway,
attribute. It's a binding decision.
Boom.
there was a lot of delegating thinking to the machines.
Yeah. Whatever.
Yeah.
Let's go to.
Okay.
Do you want to develop more the blocks part or? For now is.
No, my only concern was finding a way to make things clean and it's really up to each develop a clock somehow.
Mhm.
Maybe we will make one available by default.
And then we,
Because then we could, for example, we could insert a UI to control it. We can just snap on top of a timeline, for example.
Mhm.
It's convenient. So it might be cool to just have a default clock there. With the library.
would you put the musical kind of notation inside clocks or inside the way we sample the thing? This is also one thing that when I was talking about
Maybe
Yeah.
bars.
bars, yeah, this is more like a way we visualize the whole thing and the way we quantize the whole
I
thing.
think it's a clock. I don't know.
I don't agree. I think like,
They are clocks based on musical system, like a MIDI clock. Not like it's based on bars and kicks and this kind of things.
I like the idea of an interface, iClock, that just gives the float 64. This is the only contract. And each one of these guys implements this. You can always get that, but they also provide specific things, frame, bars, like playhead information. Well, maybe that's a different concept. But yeah, like if the Ableton thing gives me which bar I'm in, then I provide that as an Ableton specific property. But every clock, regardless of how it comes, always gives you the float 64.
And what it means in this case, flow 64, for example, the integers are the bar position and the floats are the fractional part inside the bar. Because this is what Ableton Live
Oh, this is what it's.
provides.
So you don't get a flow that is like from 0 to now, it's 892.6 seconds. This is not the float.
No, I didn't get you. What do you mean?
I thought the float Ableton was giving you is how long it's been since you hit play.
No,
In
it's
seconds.
the bar duration. If you change the BPM, it's
The
going
flow
to
change.
count up very, very slowly. For example, if you play 20 BPMs. So the way it works is the integer part sets the bar and the floats is the fractional part of the bar. Yeah, which is also interesting because you just filter the integer and you get okay, I'm in this step. Actually, no bars steps in the bar. Or cycles, call it cycles, better, because depending in the way you implement the signature in Ableton, you can get 6 steps in one bar, for example, or 7, or this kind of things. Anyway.
No, I think it's important because if this float 64 has a different meaning every time, it can get confusing unless you like go like, well, you should know who you're talking to and what this float means.
But I mean, that would be the I don't know. We have to think maybe in seconds. So
I think that's
So in a timeline, I would say, I would think it's second, right?
yeah.
But then in order to like that, if you have a matrix at some point, like a preset launcher, then you want to quantize things. But what does it mean? You connect to a clock and this quantization. It's I don't know what it can be. You can always like divide the time that you get by a certain numbers and you have the bar, no? And this kind
You
of
can do that in different ways, or expand your canvas, and you have always the same constant kind of seconds clock, independent from the BPMs. And you are expanding the canvas, contracting the canvas, or the clock itself is what is changing, is counting slower or faster in that case. No? This is what you mean. I mean, if we talk in musical terms, in BPM terms. But I don't know if it's the right way. integrate that.
Maybe it's worth looking at the formats or protocols, or whatever it's called, that we intend to support and see if there is some common ground, right? And then we could abstract, like, if it's this high clock, it's a seconds thing. But you can also look at this guy as a musical clock, and then you have these other concepts of tempo and bars and ticks or whatever.
In SBC, you don't have that. You have frames. It's based on frames per second, 25. Actually, it's very, very restricted to 30, 29, something, 25 and 24. MIDI time code works in a similar fashion, but also works with the musical terms, BPM terms. So I think we have to do a bit of research on that and to find a common field. Because at the end we want to feed our system with a flow.
That was what I was thinking. Yeah, we still need to provide a float. And maybe it's up to the tools that we build
The
on
servers,
top
yeah.
to handle something, like for example, when you have a matrix and you put a clip inside, and like in Ableton, for example, we have these bars, but still we are sampling audio, and that it gets sampled high frequency, and I don't know if they convert into no, I guess I don't know, but still it's like you have two clocks, there's the audio clock, and then there's clock on top that is interpreting. I don't know.
There is only one clock, and then they do the conversion. Actually, one interesting thing in Ableton Link, it does work only if you select ASIO drivers. So I think it works in audio range, kind of, and then they do the conversion because it's more precise to work in audio range.
So maybe this is a task, no? Investigate, like, research different time formats and propose
And also I'm interested on
time structure.
maybe, I don't know. It'd be nice to get Debian at certain moment involved on that, because he has a lot of experience on that in the technical level. Maybe we are missing many things that they are super standard in the industry, and we are trying to reinvent the wheel again.
Really, the good thing is that this is really like an independent topic. And we also have a way to bridge and bind things together. So at that point, it's a domain by itself that can grow, and it doesn't constrain the rest.
So first, maybe for working, we just need a kind of stable clock inside Gamma that can go faster than the frame per second.
I mean,
because right now the clock we have is frame based, and sometimes you want to go faster.
we have this music repository. And in there we sketch some stuff.
I'm still having problems with that.
Yeah, but maybe we can learn something from there. And because in there, we encounter different philosophies also in the clock, like having some the clock that stands like if you slow down, it gives you certain peaks, or sometimes you want to really use the event itself as something relevant, but when you do animations, you want to have like smooth values. So in that case, you just want to set the frequency of this of the update this clock, and that should be it. And then the speed of that doesn't change the event's frequency, but it changes really how fast the value grows inside that frequency that is constant. Two philosophies I found there.
So could you add to the diagram NTP, which is the network time protocol as well?
I'm not member.
Now you are.
Now I'm a member.
Well,
Wait a second.
Your Lasal was already.
No,
Two-factor. Blah, 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 blah.
Do it, you can buy.
he doesn't even know that he has this meaning.
So how will he say that? Talito,
Celoso.
Lasalos. Saleros.
Well,
We didn't accept yet.
you
Yeah.
have to say, yeah.
Okay, so
NTP, can you add this on the list of time protocol?
Yeah.
And
options?
how-
NTP,
N like
and
Norman.
Yes.
NTP?
network time protocol. This is
Uh-huh.
used to synchronize things over the internet or more like
Yeah.
computer nerdy stuff.
It's like an ARNet time code, but.
That's what they use to your phone and Windows to get the time from some server, and every computer is saying this thing.
Is okay.
But this is not for maybe for real-time operations. This is more like they synchronize every 30
Yeah.
seconds.
But
This kind
we
of-
can also use Kairos for such things like synchronizing servers.
Yeah, totally. I mean, we don't need to restrict that to
Audio.
all your real-time operations. You can, I mean,
investigate. So first thing would be investigate time formats.
yeah.
And I guess maybe in the comment, we can try to tell already that the intention is to come with an abstraction proposal, you know, how to
Yeah.
group these things, or what are the similarities and the differences, so that we can,
Mhm. In a certain moment, we have to make a distinction between musical clocks and kind of time-based clocks. So they provide just seconds, real seconds.
as opposed to the fake seconds.
Yeah, because sometimes when
Virtual seconds.
you read a library, they call it seconds, but they.
Yeah,
depend
that's
on
why they don't
that's
do-
on the BPM. It's like it's China seconds, this is a cycle, so this is totally different. All this. A cycle can be variable, but seconds depends on this, on the time.
Right, use the server, you know,
As a time protocol.
so that's important thing that we understood.
Based on, I don't know. Yeah, we have the feeling that we can talk about clocks for now. And we don't get in the one.
And waste a lot of time talking about this.
And if you talk about clocks with the music guys, like.
Okay,
Yeah.
I guess it's it's okay. On this topic of the clocks. Let's check what else.
Once you know another, next is project management. I think we can.
Let's check. We had everything there. Let's just port that your real integration.
That's kind of the data binding. I know there was this distinction between manual binding versus automatic, implicit binding versus manual binding. That's not reflected in my board.
Yeah.
And where does that go? DevOps communication node sets. Is it yet another topic? Is it part of the node set? It's for like philosophy, concept, blah blah.
I think that it's part of the library, the notes, no?
And there is a library there, right? Which is
Those are, yeah. So in
Bindex.
Hey. Implicit. Explicit binding is when you have like the old style timeliner, you get output links and you connect them somewhere. Explicit is like you give a reference to an object and it modifies it. You don't connect anything.
I like what Sebastian said. So one is more like data flow based, and the other one is more like object based. Object oriented binding. Because implicit, it depends on how you interpret the whole thing. Implicit can be also the data flow.
And then we said explicit was not a good term, but rather manual.
Yeah, but also manual and yeah. At the end, they are all manual.
Yeah.
Maybe it's data flow oriented and
I like that.
Object.
For me, it's more clear, even not coming from programming field.
Yeah. So data flow binding versus object.
oriented.
Object oriented. It sounds super. I mean, maybe in 1 month we can get a better name.
Yeah, but I mean,
You're not happy with the.
No, I don't think that.
yeah, but the point is that
Not related to the Bindex.
yes, it is. No, because it needs the node set needs to provide functions to do those things. No, it's more Kairos than Bindex. You know,
Ghosted bindings and real bindings.
because the fact that
Spiritual binding.
you get output links for each track is Kairos thing, Bindex doesn't care about that.
We can get rid of name.
And the fact that you can connect an object and like through reflection create the tracks, that's bio.
That's what it is more like on a theoretical level. Every tool, every part of our tools. Actually, we should consider the programming, but it's not an implementation thing.
And the other one is ghost.
Every golden.
No, it's library specific. I don't know.
But that data flow versus Bindex doesn't care about that. It's just Bindex is data flow oriented. The whole reflection topic is Kairos, it's not the others. No.
More the way we visualize we interpret the binding. Binding. Randall has a good name. Bob Dash. What? Bob Dash.
Since binding sounds like more, you can have bondage binding.
I mean, if we follow.
Suddenly you're an expert.
Are you also recording this bonus information?
Just getting recorded, no?
Yeah.
Asking for a friend. Yeah. All the divagations.
Yeah. Also in the documentation. No, it's something I just read about. Collect use cases. Which connects to help patch.
And also I have more ideas about export and import sessions and serialization. So to add, for example, when you're working in a team, just a very, very simple use case. You have a timeliner and all the people is working on this timeliner. No, they are creating a composition. One person is working on one part, the other person is working in another part, and they are separate time-wise. We all share all the tracks. So a way to merge parts of the timeline, this kind of thing. So my part, I'm working on this part, but I don't want to touch your thing. No?
You can also.
But
So just to give you the elements in the model, each object has a unique ID. Okay, so and that never changes. So let's say that we clone the repo and we have two exact timelines,
Mhm.
then I add a clip and you add another clip, right? If we make a bridge where every change that I do gets sent to our network, and we synchronize this model, means that we can literally patch in real time, seeing what the other guy is doing in our timeline.
But also, but I'm talking just,
And this is enough to say that whenever I change, I send you the timeline,
Mhm.
or like I change this part, you change that part, and they could be combined easily because the ID don't clash.
Mhm.
Okay. So
Also sharing facts, for example. I mean, I don't know how is it, yeah, you have the concept of track in
yeah, the model. So we could, yeah, maybe ways to extract parts of the model, right? And then the import will be okay. On my side, you send me a track, and I import this track. And so there's this modular check. Okay, do you have that track with that ID? If yes, it means that you don't overwrite. You just compare. Do we have all these items? This is new that added. No, this kind of stuff.
or merge
Yeah.
the other one. Maybe you want to keep also the old ones when you have the same track ID.
It's a merge thing. And actually, I heard that I already call them ID, the unique IDs of these objects. And Elias was saying that probably if you merge the repository, this is already considered and they keep. I mean, it uses the same mechanism that we are used to. No? You can keep the origin or the local, we can merge, and it would work. Apparently. So yeah, we just need to give it a look and see. But yeah, like every part is an object and is an ID, opens the doors to this kind of
Collaboration.
Yeah.
And also, I mean, at the end, we work always with clips and this kind of stuff, independently if we are in a timeliner context or in a matrix context. So in theory, we can just copy from the matrix, the clip, and put it inside
that's
a
another
timeliner and vice versa.
that's another topic. I mean, the objects themselves are different, they have different characteristics.
Yeah, because
Right.
in
Like-
matrix, you don't have
The size or it's really different object, but
the data.
the data is the same. So we just need to write little converters. No? When you copy over, you just get the essence of this, which is the layer inside. The layer is the value that you provide. No? So you take the layer and create a new object there that has the same layer,
Mhm.
and suddenly you basically copy over.
I can imagine that this is just a container with a value inside, and the value is the data.
That's what happens. Okay.
So you have time in the case of timeliner, you have time. No,
So it would be
And
part
the
of the
content-
editors to like have this translation thing. So when you copy that part and you paste there, the editor will need to take care. No? Okay, I need to create something new, but not just default. I get some data from this and I put it there.
I mean, they could be also the same kind of container, because in a matrix, instead of time, you have slot ID, for example.
Yeah, it's really different.
And the size, you can keep the size in a matrix context. And also you can use it in a matrix context. The size can be how long. Okay, don't go in this territory.
Yeah.
But in timeliner, you have also the same. I mean, we don't need even to do a conversion. We can keep the same kind of.
What is our key frame in the matrix?
It's a slot.
Still, we are using different words.
Yeah.
I think it's simpler to think really, okay, this essence embodies in different form, different ways. And but thanks to the fact that we distinguish these two aspects, the value, the essence to that, then it's easy. Okay, we just what we want to do really is taking the essence and put it there, no? Yes.
I love when you want political.
So, but this is a good point. We should have, no?
Yeah, so kind of interpretation of essence.
Like,
San Marina. You are from Costa Rica?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
church.
Match model, match tracks from matrix to timeliner. Wow.
Then the problem will be that that doesn't exist before.
Well, it's just sending modules for network and react to it. No,
Yeah, but if you create a dynamic keep there, you want to connect something from the patch. You can put appear there, but the patch
yeah,
is not synchronized. So
no.
Yeah. 1 second.
Yeah. 1 second, please.
Aló. Aló. ¿Sabe por qué? Sin decir nada. Bueno, pues para no que no se sientan peor. Sí, sí, se va. Y ya luego reviso así, con el pedacito de papel higiénico y un turbo y marcar un check.
Sure, we need to have these categories like
Because
lyrics.
Tipo
In the project.
Mira, había más
So we just need to
tag
tag the tasks depending on where they belong.
Yeah. Yeah, like, yeah, okay.
Esa cosa tan divertida.
Pero la lectura
Qué bueno. Qué bueno.
So Lerpix, Bindex,
Still not sure what is Bindex.
yeah, we'll rename it. Lerpix, Bindex, Layer X.
Kairos 6.
Kairos X.
Maybe it's fine. To call it parameter.
Well, it doesn't have this notion of binding and hooking stuff.
Every channel needs to be
Channel X.
needs to
You don't.
needs to have informations, not just about the channel. You need to describe what is that channel. The channel needs to hold this information. So it needs to have a parameterization. Right. This is a channel provided by the clock and it's time, and so otherwise you can't, you don't know, it's just a massive list of stuff.
Hmm.
So you think about parameterization, not just parameters of a system, of an object that you want to control, but parameterization is a way to describe something. Then it's really a key part of this library. Like, yeah, in order to bind stuff, you provide channels which has a meaning, So, but I want to discuss this with you. It's a must, yeah. We remove some of these.
Nah. Like what? Like what?
Type here.
Just if you want. Yeah, it's fine. I think it's fine. Type, but I don't even know what that is.
Runtime.
Runtime.
One fix. Okay, but let's check.
I like this one fix. So what do we do? We need to add stuff in there now. Like create another category or something for what we are just discussing, like collaboration. Where does that fit in there?
These are extensions.
Do we have such a thing or such a node already? It's not UI. It's not DevOps configuration. It's not data binding. Okay. No, the node sets. There is extensions there. Extension.
Extensions is something that they use.
Some plugins,
Plugins or sequencer, step sequencer, whatever.
like for example,
There was something about it here. Controllers, that's what you were referring to as controllers, like yeah, for controllers.
I don't say plugins, like really like an extension that provide more features, but
Plugins. So we have like this like collaboration thing, but we also have a thing which is like, yeah, create the plugin interface then.
And the goal of that is that users can collaborate with modules and.
For the live collaboration. Yeah, okay, sorry.
Or
Yeah,
is
exactly.
or is it more like what we were talking about, like working on the same
Model.
project together?
But both.
But for me, they are different things. One thing is more related to serialization, what we were talking about, the merging things and working on the same page.
Yeah, but but I think what that means is that this live collaboration thing we discussed would be a plugin. Okay, that's a different thing. Let's talk create a serialization top level thing. Serialization.
model over networks,
Export to shape. Model over network.
export parts of the model.
Export to shape.
Parts of the model.
Parts of the model.
Export, import, and merge.
No, wait. Export parts of the model. Then another topic here is shapes conversion.
What is the from matrix to to timeliner,
which are features that the editors use.
Yeah. You call that
shapes.
But could you explicit that?
Yeah, how to
from matrix to model to timeliner, for example.
Yeah, let's make an example. How to create a matrix slot out of a timeline clip.
Yeah. Vice versa. Yeah, whatever.
Import, export, model of your network. Model, save model to file. Maybe, that's not all, but
Import, export parts of the model is, but yeah, whatever.
import, export, model, so this.
So now there is a new.
Did you move on from the?
I wonder how it takes so long.
What?
I'm thinking that maybe we could say, okay, I'm responsible for the node set, just like to work on, to be more efficient. I sit down by myself and I start finding all the tasks inside this topic. You take that topic and start thinking what could be the subtasks. And so we go in parallel, in each one, extend the list of the tasks in each domain, and then we gather again and we go through, review. Because otherwise it's not gonna end very soon.
But how many topics we have left? So there are not many.
I don't see still any task yet. I just see topics
Yeah,
and it's the first thing.
but that's the point of today, to convert those topics into
Yeah,
tasks.
but it's a lot of work.
I know.
That's why I'm saying, maybe we can just each one of us take a responsibility over one part.
Ah, yeah, and do it on their
Yeah,
own.
in parallel, no?
Yeah, yeah.
Let's say 1 hour.
Yeah.
Kind of fun, make
Each
a
one
kind
think
of.
about, okay, what are the problems here, what should be done in these steps?
Priority list. Priorities, what?
Nice.
Prioritize.
Okay, who does UI?
And the only thing is that, shall we quickly do this meal shared board so everyone can just, work in there in separate parts? Because I don't know, where shall we do this otherwise?
Okay, then we need to create Miro accounts, Kairos account, but for that
Shall
we
we?
need an email. So we first create an email.
Let's take it as a task, we have 10 minutes to do it.
You finish with the serialization discussion.
More or less, yeah.
Yeah,
I wanted to suggest this idea of serialization providers. So you abstract how things are serialized and you consume the way to serialize. You know, you have a JSON serialization provider, you have a protocol serialization provider, you have the VL
I
serialization
think it would be
provider.
servers.
Yeah, you know, using the same channel thing.
Yeah, it's a server that is linked to the model of a timeline, for example. Every time there's a change, synchronize, maybe produce a new model, serialization of it, and then you can link that. You can send it to OSC because you say that server, serialization server communicates with the OSC server and asks for a channel where to send this model over. So, yeah, it could be with engines, no?
And it's not, you could be serializing in multiple ways
If
simultaneously.
they are instead of servers, engines, anyway.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, people can then change how they want the data represented. Like that, we're having multiple simultaneous data representations.
Wait a second.
So I can imagine.
I'll
also
say the
share
password,
data
and then I'll share again.
Mhm.
For example, if you need a real-time sensitivity.
Started 10 minutes.
You send data to your. This is also.
Please click on each image containing a dead and dried plant in a pot.
Whoa, it's getting harder and harder.
So
Yeah,
this,
yeah.
this one is
That
dead.
Yeah,
I think I'm just a robot.
Crazy, huh?
Yeah, but those are AI generated. Those are not real images.
Yeah, they look so.
First one for sure. But it's crazy, huh?
They are working for the.
This idea that
We are you working.
Now we are the robots.
Exactly, you have to prove the machines were human. How it's hard. They just running test.
We are checking if you are human, not if you are. No, if you are. I hate it.
I wanted to make a art installation that is a closed
Tove.
room and you have to do this in order to see the art piece and, you know, only if you act like a robot, you get to go in.
No, longer than. Or maybe.
Oh,
It's a non-genius way to go now.
Yeah,
That's expensive, isn't it?
I just created a free version, but otherwise you have to pay. Monokai because I'm a developer.
Dark.
I like Monokai.
Go Monokai.
Started. Fuck. We have an email. Now we're gonna have a Miro account.
We have some email.
But who's gonna pay for this Miro account?
No, it's free.
Ah,
That's what I'm saying.
no, but didn't you say that the free account you have to share everything and everybody can edit everything?
Yeah.
Yeah, but then it's weird. If you share your own space, everyone can
I see.
access all the boards. Just mental. So just make a space with this email, and that will be the Kairos Research Lab space. And that's it. And then
Stop sharing for a second.
oh yeah, we're sharing everything here.
Yeah,
Stop recording. Pause the recording.
yeah.
In one of the meetups, I was entering to the